Hello friends, so today we are going to discuss about malocclusion and what are the types of malocclusion, and you can see your what type of malocclusion you are having, or you're having a normal dentition, and everything we are going to discuss about. So having a malocclusion for some patient, it's not that we need to correct it, because some malocclusions are no problem, but if it is affecting your mastication or your aesthetic, we need to correct it from our throat. So okay, what is an occlusion first? An occlusion means a contact of the teeth in the opposing dental arches when the jaws are closed and during the various jaw movement. For example, just imagine this is maxillary and mandible. This is denture. So when it both come in contact and then when they are occluding, so this is called an occlusion. And also like various jaw movement, that is mastication and everything. So when the both the maxillary, the opposing arches come in contact, then we will there is an occlusion. So what are the normal occlusion? Uh, so normal occlusion, there is something called a key of occlusion. That is, before telling that key of occlusion, we will see the what are the aspect, some terminologies. Then we read the key of occlusion and how angles, Edward Angle classified the malocclusion. So if it is a teeth, this is a incisor, maxillary incisor. So what happened is that this is a, for example, this is a midline. Okay, so just imagine that another maxillary incisor which is present here. Okay, so what happens is that the surface which is towards the midline is known as a mesial, and away from the midline is known as a distal, and this is labial, and this side is lingual. So similarly, if I am considering this posterior one, so see, this is maxillary. So this is labial, and this is palatal. When it comes to mandible, like a mandible central incisor, then it will be like lingual. For maxillary, this posterior aspect will be palatal, because the palate is present there. And if I am taking this tooth, so this is the molar tooth, that is mandibular first molar. So we having 5 cusps. This is a mesial surface. The surface which is towards the midline is mesial, and which is away from the midline is distal, and this is buccal. This is a buccal surface, and this is a lingual surface. There is also something called occlusal surface. When we are considering the posterior teeth, it is called occlusal surface. The occlusal surface contain a cusp. So in this tooth, you can see it's a maxillary tooth. So it has 4 cusps, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the cusp which is present on the mesial, also buccal. So it is called a mesiobuccal cusp, and which is present on the distal and buccal is called distobuccal, and palatal. So distopalatal and disto, this is distal, and which is present on the palatal. So distopalatal, so like that. And these are cusp. When it comes to incisor, so this is called incisor edges, and you can see a cingulum here. So this is for occlusal surfaces. Okay, there is something called a line of occlusion. What is a line of occlusion? You can see some line which is running. That is an imaginary line which run like this. An imaginary line will run like this. For maxillary, the line which is run over the central fossa of each posterior teeth, that is here the central fossa, and also for anterior, the cingulum of each anterior teeth, here the cingulum. When it comes to mandible, where it runs like the buccal cusp of the posterior teeth, that is here the buccal cusp of the posterior teeth and the incisor edge of the anterior teeth, like this. This is called a line of occlusion. Okay, so what is a key of occlusion? So key of occlusion is nothing but there are two key of occlusion. Okay, in this tooth you can see, so what cusp? It is a mesiobuccal cusp. So this mesiobuccal cusp come in contact with the grooves. So grooves are nothing but this depression is called fossa, and center to it you have a pit. So from this pit one groove will run. So this is called mesiobuccal groove. So this groove is very important. Yeah. When the mesiobuccal cusp of the maxillary first molar come in contact with the mesiobuccal groove of the mandibular first molar. If it is like this, then the occlusion is correct. This is called a key of occlusion. Also, you can see in canine. Canine how it will, this is a mesial and this is a distal. So the mesial slope of the canine come in contact with the that is a maxillary come in contact with the distal slope of the mandibular canine. So if your teeth is like this, then you have a normal very good occlusion. So what are the malocclusions? So the Edward Angle who classified the malocclusion. How? Because Angle's system of classification is based on the anterior-posterior relationship of the tooth in with each other. So that is, he just consider both this anterior and the posterior relationship of the maxillary and mandible. He doesn't consider the lateral aspect. And also the Angle introduced this classification with the concept of key of occlusion and line of occlusion, which we discussed, like this key of occlusion and the line of occlusion. Okay, the maxillary first permanent molar is considered to be that is Edward Angle. He considered to be the key of occlusion, and the Angle started that the position of the maxillary first permanent molar is relatively constant, but it's not like that, but he considered it may be a relatively constant. Okay, so how he classified this malocclusion? That Edward Angle classified three classes of malocclusion, that is class 1, class 2 and class 3. We are going to discuss this in detail. So first we'll discuss the class 1 malocclusion. So how the class 1 will be? So Angle's class 1 malocclusion, how the molar relationship, how the canine relationship, how the line of occlusion. See, the molar occlusion will be normal. That is, the mesiobuccal cusp of the upper first molar occludes with the mesiobuccal groove of the lower first molar, which we discussed in the key of occlusion. This is how it will be. The mesiobuccal cusp will come in contact with the mesiobuccal groove. That's it. When it's coming to canine, the mesial incline of the upper canine occludes with the distal incline of the lower canine. Whereas the distal incline of the mesial incline just come in contact with the distal incline of the lower. Also, this distal incline of the canine come in contact with the mesial slope of the premolars. That is, whereas the distal incline of the upper canine occludes with the mesial incline of the lower first premolar. So this is how the class 1 will be. How the line of occlusion? The line of occlusion will be altered in the maxillary and mandibular arch. So it may alter the line of occlusion. Why it's altering is that because of the individual teeth irregularities like crowding, spacing, rotation, absence of teeth will be there. So that is, if this is a teeth, what happens is that in small space more teeth will be present and it may cause crowding, and the teeth may it may rotate. So this, for example, it is a teeth and it will rotate. The position won't be like something like this, and spacing, more space will be present between the tooth, and sometimes absence of tooth will be seen. So if these cases are there and the key of occlusion is proper, then it is a class 1 malocclusion. The interarch problems, so what the problems will come is that the deep bite or open bite, the bite will be more deep, or else it will be like this open bite, or proclination, or increase overjet. What is overjet and overbite? So if I'm doing like this, so this vertical aspect is called overbite. Here you can see 2 mm space should be there, and also this horizontal distance between the maxillary and mandible, relationship between the maxillary and mandible is called overjet. For example, if I'm keeping it like this, then the overjet is more. If I'm keeping like this, then overbite is it's like open bite. So overjet, this is overjet, and if I keeping like this, then the overbite will be deep. So this is that one, and also cross bite will be present. In class 1 bimaxillary protrusion, what happening here is that in class 1 bimaxillary malocclusion is the condition where both the key of occlusion and line of occlusion not altered. So everything is perfect, but what happens is that the upper and the lower anteriors are proclined and exist usually in a edge to edge relationship, that is more proclined, and it will be come in contact with like this edge to edge. There is no overbite or overjet. The 2 mm is not present. If it is like this, then you can see some 2 mm gap over here. So if it like this edge to edge contact, this is called class 1 bimaxillary protrusion. Okay. What is a class 2? The class 2 molar relation, the class 2 division of malocclusion is that the molar relationship, that is otherwise known as disto-occlusion. What happening is that this is a normal occlusion when it is going one cusp distally. Just imagine this. Okay. When I am moving it one cusp distal, this is how the class 2 will be. What is happening is that this is a mesiobuccal and this one is distobuccal. So this distobuccal cusp will come in contact with the mesiobuccal groove, and also you can see in the canine. So canine, it's very much altered. This you can also see. How the canine will be. So usually this, what happening is that the distal slope. So usually how it will be like this. So the mesial will come in contact with the distal of the lower. So this, what happening is that the distal surface of the upper canine come in contact with the mesial slope of the lower canine. So this is how the class 2 will be. In class 2 there are 2 subdivisions. We'll see it in detail. So first we are seeing class 1 division 1. So division how it will be like this. It's similar to like this, how I'm showing. So the over jet will be more. We can see more over jet, and also the lip will be the teeth will be trapped inside the lip, and there may be a deep bite and the V-shaped or constricted maxilla and more proclined. So the tooth which is present outside the lip, when the patient cannot close the lips properly. So that is we are telling. The lower dental arch is more distally positioned. So the lower dental arch is more distally positioned in the relation to the upper arch. The distobuccal cusp of the upper first permanent molar occludes with the mesiobuccal groove of the lower first permanent molar. So how the canine? The canine usually one second. Yes. How is the canine? So the distal incline. So the distal incline of the upper canine occlude with the mesial incline of the lower canine. So how the line of occlusion will be altered? Other features like it should be like a V shape or a constricted maxillary. So in this you cannot see a V shape, but it's a denture. So in real patient you can see a V shape or a constricted maxillary and proclined. So you can see more proclined maxillary incisors. The incisors will be more proclined, not like this. It will be like more proclined, and the lip trap and exaggerated curve of P. Okay, what is curve of P? So curve of P, it's an imaginary line. Curve of P is an imaginary line which established by the occlusal alignment of the teeth as projected on the median plane beginning with the cusp tip of the mandibular canine and followed by the buccal cusp tip of the premolars and molar teeth continued to the from the canine to the premolar cusp tip and molar cusp tip, and it will continue through the anterior border of the mandibular ramus and end at the anterior aspect of the mandibular condyle. Like this, it goes like this. So this is called a curve of P. So if more anteriorly positioned, what happens is that the curve of P will be like more exaggerated and the bite will be more deep. Okay, we are seeing class 2 division 1. So this is class 2 division 1 and its subdivision. So we already seen class 1 and also this bimaxillary class 1 also, and now we are seeing class 2, that is division 1 we already seen. So what is a subdivision? Subdivision is nothing but it's a combination, like class 1 one side will be a class 1 and other side will be this class 2 division 1. So that is what happening is that one side it will be like this, it will be like the mandible will be more in the distal aspect. So one side it will be like this, and the other side you can see the normal key of occlusion. So this is how wherever the subdivision is coming, you can see one side it is a class 1 and other side will be whatever classes is there, they are present. So wherever the subdivision is coming, one side will be class 1 and the other side will be whatever the class are there. For example, if a class 2 and subdivision 1, so it will be like this. Also, for example, class 2 subdivision 2, class 2 division 2 subdivision, also one side will be like class 1 and other side will be class 2 subdivision. Wherever the subdivision is coming, one side will be class 1 will come. So this is how it will be. You can see class 1 division 1, sorry, class 2 division 1 subdivision, the condition where the class 2 molar relationship is unilateral. So one side will be a class 2 molar relationship or present only on, or which is present only on one side, with a normal class 1 molar occlusion on the other side. The normal class 1 molar occlusion on the other side. So, okay, what are the angles class 2 division 2 molar occlusion? So, this one we are. What are the class 2 molar relationship? So, what are the angles class 2 subdivision 2 molar occlusion is that the class 2 molar relationship. So, it will be like this only. The molar will be, the mandible will be distal. It will be like this only. The mesiobuccal cusp, the distobuccal cusp will come in contact with the mesiobuccal groove, and also similar which is seen in the canine. So what happened in this relation is that the line of occlusion will altered. So what happening is that the characteristic lingual inclination of the upper incisors along or central or lateral incisors together. So what happening is that this incisors will be present more lingually. So this is a wax model, so I can show you. So these teeth, yeah. So this is how it will be exactly, yeah. Lower also. So this canine will overlap the lateral incisors and the arch. This is how the class 2 subdivision 2 will be. And the arch, you can see a square shaped arch. So we'll read it in detail. So the class 2 molar relationship. The lower distal arch is distally positioned in relation to the upper arch. So the distobuccal cusp of the maxillary molar occlude with the distobuccal cusp of the maxillary molar occlude with the mesiobuccal groove of the lower first molar, and the canine, the distal incline of the upper canine occlude with the mesial incline of the. How is the line of occlusion? So the line of occlusion will be altered. What are the other features? So the characteristic lingual inclination of the upper central incisor alone or a central and lateral incisor together. So which is more lingually placed. And also this the canine overlaps the retrocline incisor. So the incisor which is retrocline, and this canine will overlap the retrocline incisor, and closed bite will be present. The bite which will be like this, a closed bite, and the arch will be like a square shaped arch and exaggerated curve of sphere. So curve of sphere which is more exaggerated. So what is the class 2 subdivision, class 2 division 2 subdivision? So subdivision which is coming, one side will be like class 1 and the other side will be whatever class which is there. So the condition where the class 2 molar relationship exists, only one side with a normal molar relationship with the other side. So one side will be a class 1 molar relation, class 2 molar relationship, and other side will be a normal molar relationship, that is class 1. Okay, so next we are going for angles class 3 malocclusion. That's it. We are coming for angles class 3 malocclusion. How the angles class 3 malocclusion will be? It's nothing but if it's a this is a normal occlusion. When it coming for class 3, so class 3 is otherwise known as mesio-occlusion. So mesio-occlusion means this mandible will go more on a mesial aspect, that is one cusp ahead, like, yeah, like this. So it will be like this. So what happening is that you can easily tell what is happening here. So this is a mesiobuccal cusp. So this mesiobuccal cusp is present, which is present in between the first and the second molars. How the canine? So how the canine will present? So this canine you can see which is presenting the maxillary, the upper canine is presenting in between the first and the second premolars. Same as the mesiobuccal which is present in between the first and second molars. Also we'll see a detail. So how the class 3 molar relationship. The lower dental arch in the anterior relation to the maxillary arch. So the mesiobuccal cusp of the upper first permanent molar occlude with the interdental space between the lower first and second permanent molars. How the canine? The upper canine occludes with the interdental space between the lower first and second molars. Like this, between the first and second premolars. This is premolars. Sorry, it's normal, so it come like this. So these are premolars. So it will be present in between. It will be present in between these two premolars, and also here it will be present in between these first and second molars. How the line of occlusion may or may not be altered. So it may alter or it may not be altered. What are the other features? So reverse overjet or anterior crossbite. So this, the overjet, how the overjet it will be like this. So when it going like this, the overjet will be reversed, and also the anterior crossbite will be present, and maxillary anterior crowding, the anterior crowding will be present, and posterior crossbite will be present. What are the subdivisions? So when it coming for subdivision, the one side will be class 1 and other side will be the respective class. That is the condition in which the class 3 molar relationship is present only on one side. So one side will be class 3 with a normal molar relationship on the other, that is class 1. In this class 3, there are actually 4 types. That is, see, class 3. One is like class 3 and pseudo class 3, subdivision and skeletal class 3. So class 3 we already see. What is pseudo class 3 and subdivision, and what is the skeletal class 3? So first we seen the subdivision. So subdivision is one side is our normal class 1 and other side will be a respective class. And what are the true class? So true class 3 is that it is a skeletal malocclusion. The reason for it is that, for example, this is a maxillary and it's a mandible. So this maxillary is retrognatha. So what is a retrognatha is a smaller maxillary. When the maxillary is smaller and the mandible is normal, then the tooth will be present like this. If the maxillary is normal, that is the second condition is called prognathic mandible. So the mandible which be more prognathic. So the mandible will be like this, or the combination of both. So what is a pseudo class 3? That is a habitual class 3, otherwise known as. This is not a true class 3 malocclusion. So due to the occlusion prematurity, so that the child will bite more, what to say, protrude. So more protrude forward bite. So forwardly biting, and by this habit, the mandible will be like more forward. So by this habit, it has a class 3. So this is a habitual class 3. What happening is that this is not a true class 3. The malocclusion due to occlusal prematurity when the mandible moves from the rest position to the occlusion. It slides forward into the pseudo class 3 position. When it's biting or something, it bites like this. So this is called pseudo class 3. Also, one more point for the pseudo class 3 is that these patients shows a normal molar relationship in the rest position. When the patient is in the rest position, the molar relationship will be normal. But during some mastication and all, it will bite more forwardly. So it is like a pseudo class 3. It is because of the habit. maybe some pain on the tongue or something else. The child which is keeping the mandible on the more forward, so that may cause the pseudo class 3. So that's it. Thank you.